guys, it's Brooke. Welcome back to my channel, or to my channel if you're new here. I hope you guys stay. So for today's video, I am finally doing something which I should have done a long time ago, as you can see in the title, doing a part 2 of my story time that went viral called Ouija Board Gone Wrong. That has to do with the Ouija board and death and very terrifying things. Buckle your seatbelts, kids, because we are going to get right into this story. But before we start, make sure you guys subscribe if you haven't. I post every single Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Make sure you guys follow me on all my social media in the description below. It's also in the beginning of the video. And let's get into this story time of the Ouija board gone wrong part 2. So if you guys did not watch part 1 of my Ouija board gone wrong story time video, where most of my followers have come from that video, so hi you guys. But if you didn't see part 1, I am going to leave it linked in the description below, as well as up top somewhere. I'll figure out how to do that, so definitely go watch that one first. You don't need to watch that one first, but I would suggest watching that one first so you kind of have a little bit of background information. However, I'm not entirely sure you're really gonna need it for this one, because they are completely different stories, but they do have to do with the same person, and that is my grandpa. So my grandpa, who is the one who tells me these Ouija board stories, is also a psychic. He has so many stories. He was telling me just a few of them the other day, so I'm so excited to share these on my channel with you guys, because I know you guys loved my Ouija board part 1. So let's just talk briefly about my grandpa. My grandpa, since he was a very young boy, had been known for having these weird psychic abilities. And in my family, a lot of us have carried on these traits that he has. I myself don't think I am a psychic, however my channel might tell you different from all these weird psychic experiences I have had. I mean, I don't believe I'm a psychic, but what are the odds that I do have these really strange things happen to me? If you guys didn't see those videos, go watch them. I'm sure they will freak you out just as much as this video is gonna freak you out. So my grandpa was kind of known for having these dreams. P.S. You guys will see how this ties into the Ouija board at the end of the video. So my grandpa is known for having these kind of really terrifying dreams. Not terrifying in the sense that like they're scary dreams, but I mean, some of them are definitely scary, but they're terrifying because every time he does have a dream about someone dying, it always happens. Always. There was never once in my grandpa's life where he had a dream and dreamt up something that happened and it didn't occur. His friends have told stories about his stories to psychics, and they literally have told him that he has psychic abilities, and that if he keeps practicing and like using his abilities more, he'll be able to really strongly develop his psychic abilities. And he didn't want to do that because he doesn't really like that he has this superpower psychic ability thing. I don't even know what to call it. So he has a lot of dreams. So one night, as my grandpa's sleeping, he has this really weird dream about this person named Ben. In the dream, my grandpa is in this building that he's never been in before. He said he could perfectly describe the building to a T. He said there was a doorman there were these 2 winged back chairs, there was a mezzanine with a balcony. Like, this building was crystal clear in his head. It was actually an apartment building. And in this apartment building, there were these elevators, and when you look up to the elevators, there was the mezzanine and the balcony. So in his dream, he's inside this random building that he's never been in real life. And he looks up at the elevators, and the elevator doors open, and some woman in the elevator said to him, "Come with me, you have to come with me and come say goodbye to Michael." And then she said, "He's not here right now, but you have to come say goodbye to Michael." And in the dream, when this woman was telling him to come say goodbye to Michael, he was also with this man named Ben, who he had never met before in his life. He doesn't know anybody named Ben. So my grandpa wakes up from this really weird dream of being told from some woman that he has to go say goodbye to some guy named Michael with this random guy named Ben. And since my grandpa knows that his dreams always mean something, he asked his friend if he had known anybody named Ben. At first, his friend was like, "No, I don't know anybody named Ben. Literally can't think of anybody that I know with the name of Ben." And then while he started getting ready for work and showering, his friend remembered that he actually did know a mutual friend from a friend named Ben. So when my grandpa's friend remembered that he did know of a mutual friend he had with some other guy named Ben, he remembered that the building that Ben used to live in sounded exactly like the building my grandpa was describing from his dream. At the time, my grandpa lived in Lake George, and this all was occurring on a Monday, which will be relevant later. So since my grandpa had this dream and his very good friend knows about these dreams and knows that when he has these dreams, they're normally serious dreams and real bad things normally do happen in real life when he has these dreams, they both decided they were going to drive 3 hours to the apartment building where this guy named Ben used to live and where Ben and my grandpa's friend and his other friend all used to hang out. So they get in their car and they're driving there, and as they're getting closer and closer, my grandpa's like, I can tell you exactly where to go because this was all in my dream. And he's literally telling his friend, go this way, that way, this way. This block looks so familiar, like this is the exact block I dreamed about. And he knew the exact building. Before his friend even pointed it out, he knew the exact building when they arrived there. Now, this guy Ben didn't live in this building anymore. He had moved out and lived somewhere else, and my grandpa's friend knew that, but he wanted to go there anyway to see like what was up with it, like why it was in his dream. So they go into the apartment complex building, and the doorman is there, opens the door for them, and they say, look, this is really weird. I had a dream last night that I was inside this building, and I've never been in it before, but it was just a really weird dream, and I was being told to go say goodbye to someone, and I just want to go inside and like look at it. The doorman allowed them inside, and when my grandpa walked inside, he was like, this is literally the exact thing I saw in my dream. There were the 2 winged back chairs, the mezzanine with the balcony, and the elevators, and a huge lobby, and these side doors that he described that he walked into. It was all there. So my grandpa and his friend are looking around and they're like, this is creepy that you had a dream about this exact place and it looks exactly like this place and you've never been here before. So what do we do with this information now? Like, why was this in your dream? What is its relevance? My grandpa's friend decided to give his friend a call who he knew was friends with Ben. His friend's name was Peter. My grandpa's friend calls his friend Peter and says, hey Peter, this is really random, really weird, but we used to hang out way back then, and we used to hang out at this random apartment building where Ben used to live. And I'm here right now because my friend had a weird dream about this place, and we don't really know what it means, but it was just weird. What are you up to? Like, what's going on? And Peter says to my grandpa's friend, that's so weird. I'm sitting right next to Ben right now. That's just so creepy in and of itself. That is terrifying. But anyway, so Peter hands the phone to Ben, and Ben is talking to my grandpa's friend, and then Ben hands the phone back to Peter. And when Peter's on the phone with my grandpa's friend says, look, I know this is really weird, but Peter, if anything happens to Ben, give this number a call. And he gives him his phone number, and that was the end of the conversation. So now this phone call's over. They kind of still don't really know why he had this dream, what Ben had to do with anything, what Ben's apartment building had anything to do with anything. But they say, you know what, we just drove 3 hours all the way here. We might as well go visit your brother. My grandpa's brother lived literally right in the same area where this apartment building is, which my grandpa also didn't know. So they decided to go visit his brother and hang out with him. And they ate dinner with him and like hung out with his wife and him. And it was like a really nice dinner and really nice seeing him. And then they went back home and went back to sleep and went on with their daily lives. 1 week later, on a Monday night, my grandpa gets a phone call, and he is told that his brother, whose name was Michael, had died of a heart attack. So the Michael he dreamed about and the Michael he was being told to come say goodbye to was his brother. So let me just conclude this if you aren't fully caught up to speed. My grandpa had a dream that he was in this random apartment building and this woman is telling him to come say goodbye to Michael. He doesn't know who Michael is in the dream, and he doesn't know who Ben is in the dream, but he's in this guy Ben's apartment. And when he wakes up, they go visit this apartment, and the reason why he had this dream is because Ben's apartment was right near his brother Michael's house. So they believe that the dream was put in his head to like bring him down 3 hours away from home to go visit his brother Michael and technically say goodbye without knowing he was saying goodbye, and see him one last time before he died a week later. Now, how does this have to do with the Ouija board, you're asking? Well, I am getting there. So one day, my grandpa had some friends over, and every time these friends came over, they would always bring a Ouija board. Every time my grandpa would use the Ouija board, he would always get really creepy, real messages from it. He was telling me that he has a whole book filled with like writings from the Ouija board and like stories that he wants to share with me, which I will definitely be sharing with you guys. But this particular time, he was with a couple friends. They were using the Ouija board, and only 2 friends would go at a time, and 1 friend would be sitting and waiting. And anytime the 2 friends were going, the one person who was sitting to the side and not using the Ouija board was always the one where the questions and like answers and stuff would be directed towards. Like, the Ouija board would always only be speaking to the people who weren't touching the board but were in the room, which is super creepy. So my grandpa's 2 friends are on the Ouija board, and my grandpa is sitting aside waiting for his turn, and messages are coming up for him. The message said, "To Rich," my grandpa's name is Richard, "from Michael. Angel needs help." Now, Angel, nobody knew this in the room besides for my grandpa, but Michael is my grandpa's brother. Angel was his wife and also his daughter's name. Nobody knew that. Nobody in the room knew of Angel or who she was or anything about her. They barely even knew my grandpa's brother, I believe. So my grandpa says, "What does she need help with?" And the Ouija board says, "Little Angel." And that was all he was told. But the creepy thing about it is that nobody knew who she was or why she needed help or why she needed help with her daughter. But my grandpa knew that it probably had something to do with the loss of his brother who had recently died, and that she just needed some help. But the people who were literally on the board had no idea who she was, which just proves that Ouija boards are not a game. So I know this was a lot. I hope you guys enjoyed this story time for my Ouija board gone wrong part 2. Very, very soon I will have more Ouija board stories, even scarier ones dedicated to solely Ouija board things that will give you guys nightmares if this video didn't, because this video creeped me out. Not to mention, as I'm talking to my grandpa and hearing all these stories and learning these things, and he's telling me every single time I have a dream about someone dying, it always happens, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, the literal day my other grandpa died, I had a dream that he died, and I woke up and got a phone call not even 20 minutes after I had woken up, and my grandpa had just died in my head, like that my grandpa died. Like, I literally had woken up, cried a little bit to myself, panicked a little bit to myself, because I was like, holy shoot, like I just had a dream that my grandpa died that was terrifying, and 30 minutes later I get a phone call saying my grandpa died. I am freaked out by this stuff solely because I know how scary it is for my grandpa and how real it is. I'm not telling you guys you have to believe in this stuff. I mean, I definitely get skeptical at some things, like certain medium shows. I'm always a little bit skeptical at the beginning of the episodes, but then by the end I'm like, oh my god, like this is all real. Like these people, there's no way it's fake. There's no way. So yeah. If you guys liked this video, leave it a big thumbs up, and also make sure you guys subscribe. I post videos every single Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so make sure you have your post notifications on, and make sure you guys stay tuned for this Friday's video. I'm gonna be posting something really hilarious that I really want to share with you guys, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. And yeah, I will see you guys on Friday. Have a very happy hump day.